On today's show, I'm going to share with you another tactic. Hopefully, this gives you some ideas of what you can do with some of the roles and duties that are in the game. And it's called the Love Box. Now, the original Magic Box tactic that I created has been used by Palemo. I've used it since FM17. It's a pretty strong tactic. Palemo, I've used it to, move out from Serie C, and now they're in Serie A, and they use that tactic to get themselves into Europe in only their third season with a bunch of Muppets in the team. I'm happy with the tactic. I absolutely adore the tactic because you can always tweak it in different ways. Now, today I'm going to introduce you to a new box tactic. It's maybe a bit more defensively solid, and it gives you some options, especially if you are a weaker team. Now, this was the original Magic Box tactic. When I created this tactic, I had a simple goal in mind. There was a reason why I set this formation up in the way I did. It was to create a 5-channel attack when I am flooding the opponent's third. I get the 5-channel attack from the F9 dropping deep, the Shadow Striker coming to this space, the fullbacks appearing in these areas. We would flood the final third and create lots of defensive issues for sides. Now, naturally, some might say this is a bit too attacking. There are definitely various ways you can modify this tactic. You can play with the DLP on support if you feel like you're a weaker team. Now, the reason why we set this tactic up like that, we remember we had run wide with ball here and run wide with ball. That was basic because we wanted these guys moving out to the flanks, and then these two players would attack the center. We'd get the Volante also coming in, becoming a goal-scoring threat. And the Regista, well, the Regista was a safer option. We didn't expect him to, explode all over the pitch. Of course, as my team got stronger, I started using a roaming playmaker. Against stronger sides, I started playing with a DLP. The reason was simple. We wanted a player here who would hold his position while the fullbacks attack the flanks. The system is really simple. And the new Love Box is slightly different. What I want to do today is explain how I expect to see these roles behave and how they will move and how they will link up with other players to create situations on the pitch which help us score goals. The Love Box is pretty straightforward. It uses 2 pressing forwards. It's got Bazala attack, a CM on attack, Volante roaming playmaker, 2 inverted wingbacks, ball playing defenders. Yeah, when you see this tactic the first time, all you're going to think about is, oh my god, he's very, very attacking. He's trying to attack the center, which is exactly the case. I've got these roles that are set up. We've got a inverted wingback who's going to either come inside, narrow, attack narrow occasionally, or he might go wide because he's got to sit narrower. And if you play with 2 DMs, they tend to play more or less like wingbacks, but because they're still going to have those PIs, they're going to pay attention to those PIs. We've got a Mazala on attack. He will go wide, half space, right? He's going to sit in the half spaces a lot. This creates interaction with the inverted wingback who can either come inside or go wide. Now, because we've got a pressing forward, he's going to hold the attention of one of the defenders. Now, this happens, he pulls players to one side. We get space inside the center. Guess who's going to love that space? We got Volantes, and we got a CM on attacking this way. So, the roaming playmaker is probably going to sit in this area. So, we're going to create a situation where several things can happen. The first thing that can happen is the CM can attack the space here, or the Mazala on attack can attack the space here. So you're going to have 2 more goal-scoring options in the Mazala on attack and the CM on attack, with the inverted wingbacks playing a very big part in this tactic because they're going to give you the width you need occasionally, or they're going to create problems in the final third by their movement, which is the reason why I'm using a Mazala. Why didn't I use 2 Mazalas? There's an issue with having 2 Mazalas in a system like that. When you use 2 Mazalas, both Mazalas might end up in the half space. Because I'm using roles that have a lot of movement in them, a volante and a roaming playmaker, the roaming playmaker could be out of position. The volante could go up here and try and support the flanks. This opens up a big gap in the middle, and this is something I wanted to avoid. There are naturally other variations that we could play that are a lot more safer. For example, because we've got a Mezzala attacking this way, you want to create space for the Mezzala to score goals. You could get this player to be a DLF on support. Now he will drop deep. This player could be a fullback on attack or a wingback on attack. They go down the flanks. They give you the width. Then, because he's attacking the center, you might want to put an anchor man over here, right? So you could put like a DM or an anchor man. He creates a lot of solidity in the middle. And then over here, you could play an attacking playmaker or a central midfielder on attack. But whatever you want somebody to attack this side of the pitch. And then you could use this role as a volante, or you could even put a DLP on support in this position, and you get a lot of coverage, defensive coverage. Here, on the other hand, you could play with a wingback on attack and go down, up and down the flanks. Now, there are so many ways to play the boxes. This is my way of playing the box. It's very, very aggressive. And when I put the tactic into the total tactics tester, it gave us some interesting. So this is the total tactics tester. We gave the one tactic to all 4 teams, and I holidayed with the teams. And I didn't even bother setting up a first 11, which I normally do most of the time. This time I just wanted to just give it to the Aspen and see what would happen. And I was kind of surprised because in the balanced league, which is a reflection of a normal league, right? I mean, you're going to have 2 contenders, and the rest of them are going to be, either middlings or underdogs. Napoli just stomped to the championship. I mean, they won it with a goal difference of 57, which was not that bad. Lost twice to Liverpool. Overall, it was a solid performance here. In the balanced league as well, they topped that league, which is a league of teams that are similar in standard. And of course, the underdog teams league. And now if your tactic can win this, then don't bother even using the tactic. And here in the Elite League, which is the reason why I was so surprised, this is a very attacking tactic. Now, I would have expected this tactic to be finishing in 9th spot or 10th spot, but it finished in 4th spot with a positive goal difference, which was very surprising. This tactic has got a lot of potential and can be a lot of fun to play with. So now we're attacking the final thing. You can see my inverted wingback is actually sitting narrow. It hasn't gone all the way to the flanks. Because this is going to happen during the game, and it makes the use of the inverted wingback very unpredictable. Sometimes he'll sit in this position, sometimes he'll sit here, which makes it a lot of fun because whenever he sits here, the Mezzala is going to attack this space over here. So as we get the ball, the Mezzala goes wide, he crosses the ball, and we get a goal scoring action because of the movement of the Mezzala. One of the reasons why I love the inverted wingback is occasionally the inverted wingback is going to try and play a ball through the middle. Now here we've got our defenders, he's got the ball. Central midfielder attack plays the ball to the inverted wingback. Now the inverted wingback has the ball. We've got 2 pressing forwards, they'll be on the shoulder of the last man. He comes in, he plays the ball through the space for one of the pressing forwards to latch on to, and he goes on to score a goal. This is the reason why I specifically picked the inverted wingback for this formation. I like inverted wingbacks in this setup because when they go narrow and the ball is being played through the middle, there are going to be opportunities for us to pull defenders out of position. Now, when these defenders get pulled out of position, either the central midfielder on attack or the Mezzala on attack become goal scorers. So here we've got a ball, it goes to the Volante. The Volante plays it out to the inverted wingback. Now as the inverted wingback comes to get the ball, he will pull these 2 players out of position. In doing so, he creates space which other players use. Now here they are pulled out of position. We got a 3-on-2 right in the middle here. We got Pessina, Muriel, and Osimhen, the striker. He checks the ball back. Zielinski, Pessina comes in for an easy tap in. Now these kind of goals are going to be common. Now, my Palermo team will definitely be using the Magic Box and the Love Box for the rest of the season. And if you want to catch up and ask me more questions on how I use the tactic, you can do so during my live streams on BTN Live. Meanwhile, let's just take a look at some of the play instructions in this tactic. We've got some play instructions and some team instructions that we need to get through. These are all pretty self-explanatory. If we don't play with the offside trap. You want to, you can. If you don't play with the offside trap, what you normally see is these two defenders tracking back, following the strikers. So I tend to play without an offside trap. But if I want to go camping and I'll be a lot more aggressive, I might push everything up, turn on the offside trap, and play in the opponent's third. We've got use tighter marking and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. I've got throw it long, distribute center backs to full backs, counter and counter press. Up top, yes, we have a combination of run and defense and pass into space. I kind of like this because it plays in a really quirky way. Whenever you've got run and defense, you also have players we've also got players who are running in channels. With good players, with good off-the-ball movement, sometimes you see the potential of a lot of balls being played into spaces. And I've got players attacking spaces too. So I thought, well, if you're running at a defense and pulling defenders apart, then you want also somebody to look for chances to play those kind of passes. And in terms of play instructions, we are pretty lightweight in front. And then the Mezzala and the CM don't have any play instructions. And then we've got Volante. Now, he has some play instructions. Now, this is something that is personal. I like this. Take Furious. He doesn't do a lot of those pass into space passes. He's got dribble more, get further for move into channels with the roaming playmaker. Now, both of them, when they both have move into channels, it does mean that the center is vulnerable. Now, if you don't have that kind of a team that can play this kind of a tactic, I would recommend turning this, at least one of these roles, into a DMD or a anchorman, because then you'll have somebody to anchor your defense. Here we've got ball playing defenders and inverted wingbacks. The inverted wingbacks have both been told to mark tighter. Now comes the surprise. At the back, because I've got these two players pushing into spaces, I really don't want these two ball-playing defenders to be static. So I've told them to dribble more and close down more. This way, when we get the ball, they push up. These roaming playmakers are encouraged to look for space. This is why I got roaming playmaker. Then close down more, because I've got Volante and a roaming playmaker, both being told to move into the channels. Plus, there's a possibility they'll be further away from the defenders, so I want them to dribble more with the ball. So I tend to pick players who've got good first touch and dribbling. So that's basically it. It's the love box tactic for FM22. Well, today's video was meant to open your eyes up to some potential possibilities when you're playing the game. There's a reason why if you've got certain PIs that are surprised that you've never seen me use before. And I'm hoping that, it gives you some ideas, especially with some of the combinations I'm using for team instructions. I hope you found today's video useful and you found it interesting. If you want any more videos on tactics, please let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video. Once again, I want to thank everybody for their support. You've been absolutely fantastic. Meanwhile, please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.